Oh my gosh. One of the things I didn't realize living alone is just how little I talk. It's like almost 10 o'clock and I'm speaking my very first words, and I've been up since like 5. I thought I would just make a quick video kind of discussing how I have hacked my morning routine, how to make it more efficient, productive, positive, and I thought I would just share that all with you guys. A little bit of a backstory on how I got to this point. My early morning 5 a.m., 5, 6, between 5 and 6 a.m. wake up times started a little involuntarily just because of where I was working and needed to wake up early to get there on time. So I was originally living an hour away from work, living with my parents. And around this time last year, I was doing like a 30-day walking challenge, but turned into kind of an all summer thing where I wanted to walk 30 minutes every day. Sometimes it would be after work, but a lot of the time I would decide to walk 30 minutes in the morning. Therefore, I'd have to wake up a bit earlier. This has obviously kind of got the ball rolling. I guess finding out more about myself on whether I am a morning person, an evening person, and just how I am more productive. I do have a lot of energy issues, and so I find I am more productive in the morning. And that's kind of what helped me realize that I needed to be waking up early to kind of start my day off on a good note. The hour that I had to drive to and from work, sometimes longer depending on traffic, really ate into my day. Looking back this time last year, just how stressful that drive made me and how much it ate up into my day and how more tired it made me than I needed to be. So obviously I have moved out. If you haven't watched any of my other videos, you can go ahead and watch those. And even though I live about 5 to 10 minutes away from work now, waking up early is still something that my body just naturally does on its own. So I thought, why not just stick with it, because I get so much more done in the morning because it's the time of the day that I feel the most productive and awake and have the most energy. So I'm not saying that everyone needs to be waking up 5 a.m. like I do, but I think you need to take a look at yourself or take a look inside and figure out what time of the day works better for you. Figure out what you want to be doing in the morning, how long it takes you to do that before you need to travel to work, and then kind of work your way backwards to figuring out when you need to wake up without feeling rushed and overwhelmed. Because sometimes some people can't go to sleep until much later. I don't expect anyone to want to be only getting 4 or 5 hours of sleep and then having to wake up super early the next day. So my morning routine actually starts the night before. I wake up between 5 and 6, and it's never an exact time. I have a light bulb that's connected to my Wi-Fi, and I have a schedule set up so that it slowly turns on over a period of time, and then I wake up most of the time from that, and then I have an alarm as a backup. Because I wake up pretty early, I don't want to really be fumbling around in the morning to get myself out of bed and to the gym. So I fill up a water bottle. This one in particular, Simple Modern. This was one out of the 3 things I purchased on Prime Day. I have the bigger one that's my daily use one. I try and drink 1 full thing of that, and then I try and drink this in the morning by the time I leave for work. But I basically fill this up with water, put ice in it, and leave it on my counter with my keys, my AirPods, and my yoga mat, kind of all sitting right by the door. And then I also try and make sure that I have my gym clothes set up the next day. I wear an old t-shirt most of the time, shorts, pants, I don't know. And then my Hokas obviously are right by the door. So now, of course, if you don't have a gym in your apartment or you don't go to work out, it doesn't necessarily matter. You can start your morning routine with whatever you do first thing in the morning by preparing it the night before. I've been working out every single day, varying from just a light walk to heavy workouts. My apartment has a Peloton treadmill, bike, and their workout movement tracker thingy that you can do their strength training programs on. I have been completely obsessed with it lately, and it's something new and fun and getting me exercising. Sometimes I even go twice a day because that's how obsessed I am with it. Will this obsession last? I don't know. I don't think so. But I am using every minute that I am obsessed with it to my advantage. And I also don't like working out with like lots of other people in the gym. It's like teeny tiny. So it's nicer to just wake up and get it out of the way, knowing most people don't work out that early or as early as I do, at least in my apartment complex. Previously to waking up early and going to the gym, a lot of the time I spent my mornings making my lunch for the day, especially if it was a work day. Or if it was a day that I started late and I had mornings off, I would spend the time budgeting, figuring out what I was going to film for YouTube, just like computer work. And at the time, it's really what started my day productively. And to be honest, when I was living with my parents, I wanted to work out in the morning, but the driving just took so much energy out of me that I had to conserve as much energy as I could to be able to like pay attention on those drives. Because I wake up so early and get that workout out of the way, I am left with about 2 hours before work. Sometimes my workouts take longer if I feel like doing something extra, but I usually end up showering, getting ready for work, changing into my scrubs, and then it leaves me with a little bit of time to eat breakfast or make lunch or do both, budget, look over my emails, and just really relax and not have to stress getting to work on time. After driving for such a long period of time, I realized that having a morning routine is somewhat of a privilege because a lot of the time people are driving really far for work. Either they have kids or other responsibilities that end up being prioritized over themselves. That was me prioritizing everyone else but myself for a really long time. So I totally get it. Me living 5 to 10 minutes away from home now allows me to do all this extra stuff. But I totally understand people that don't get that privilege. So I just wanted to acknowledge that and say, don't beat yourself up because it is unfair. It can feel unfair. That's why I think creating a morning routine that works with your schedule instead of against it, or you're trying to fit something into your schedule that just doesn't work with you long term, is obviously not going to end well. So I think having a morning routine increases productivity, obviously improves your mental health. I do feel like I manage my time a lot better now. Waking up early and getting a bunch of stuff done makes me feel like majority of my day hasn't been at work. I feel like it gives me a more sense of control of my life. So I feel like I am working to live and not living to work. I was gonna say if I'm tired, when I am tired after work. I don't feel like I beat myself up as much because I look back and be like, yeah, before even work started, I was up for 3 to 4 hours already and I got all this stuff done. I feel like my life needs my best performance and my work doesn't. My work needs a good enough performance, obviously, if that makes sense. I'd rather be awake and have energy for my own part of my like personal life instead of giving it all away to work and then just being tired in the morning and tired at night. This also just leads me to unintentionally being better at work or feeling like I'm doing a better job at work because I'm not putting it all on the line for the job, but also because I am just mentally feeling better. I don't get hung up on the little things would normally upset me at work. I mean, some days it obviously still happens, but for the most part, I feel like I am doing a lot better at work because I'm not angry at it for taking up a lot of my time. Whatever time you want to wake up, whatever time you figured out, that's the time you need to wake up to do all the things that you want to do. I would start small, begin with stuff that's easy to accomplish. Me getting to this point took me a really long time, and I'm still implementing stuff to help me wake up and get out of bed. Because a lot of the times I wake up early and it takes me forever to get out of bed. And it annoys me because the half an hour or 45 minutes it took me to get out of bed, I'm feeling like, well, that was useless for waking up so early. I could have been sleeping a bit more. Anyway, I'm just trying to get better at waking up and not wasting time. My morning routine, when it gets mixed up, it's a pro and a con at the same time. I have a harder time being flexible. I want to wake up at the same time-ish every day and do the exact same thing in the morning. And then the rest of my day can kind of be a little bit different. So I'm trying to work on that. Right now, there's 2 things that I make sure I do in the morning, which is wake up early and then go to the gym and get that out of the way. Everything else I do in the morning, that can be different, that might change, but being consistent is what will help you get to that point of having a good, productive, healthy morning routine that you want and that you created for yourself. And then prioritizing self-care, whatever you think is going to help you mentally and or physically will make the day go a little bit better. When you fill your spoon up first, your cup first, there's more of you to give out later in the day and not feel so empty. And of course, like I mentioned before, prepare the night before, make it as easy as possible to do whatever you want to do in the morning. And then of course, adjust as needed. This is difficult for me. This is something that I'm still practicing myself, especially on the weekends. I find, at least at the beginning, starting off with one thing at a certain time, even on the weekends, will be your best bet in terms of creating the morning routine that you want, and then adjust as needed as the seasons go by. Whatever you feel like isn't working, change it. Also wanted to mention the social media aspect of morning routines. I think it's important to kind of note this and think about it. It's really easy to feel discouraged by seeing someone's morning routine and wanting to be like that, but you're not able to do it for yourself. The thing is, there's a lot of things going into what you're seeing on social media from a post by someone. And first, that morning routine is curated to them and their schedule. A lot of social media people that are posting their morning routines are people that don't have a regular 9 to 5. You can find people, obviously, that do that and share their experiences. Majority of the ones that I've been seeing are influencers that don't have a regular 9 to 5. And it's just different when you are a regular worker and trying to create a morning routine versus someone whose job is to showcase their life all the time. A lot of social media is obviously curated. Also, if you haven't realized, like I just recently have, a lot of these clips are filmed ahead of time, to be honest. I have tried and I have filmed morning routines, and I'm always like, why do they look so bad? Like, la 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 la, like just being like, this isn't the same as the ones that I'm seeing or similar to the ones that I'm seeing online. And it's because they're pre-filming stuff, or it's not the time that they say it is, just so that they can get a nicer shot, better storyline. Nothing wrong with that. It's just, it made me feel bad as to why I couldn't get all this stuff done.
You know, I get why a lot of, I'm trying off the knife, why a lot of influencers, or actually whatever, other morning routines, where they fake it, because this is so stressful, trying to film and get ready at the same time and trying to clean up for the day. I'm kind of gonna give up on some of the stuff and just finish it later, but normally I would have time to like clean up and make my lunch and not to rush through it.
So the reality is that creating content and what you see online often doesn't reflect the reality of having spontaneous, like, everyday moments. Your routine should be unique to you and your circumstances, and it's perfectly okay if it doesn't look like mine or anyone else's. It's just really important that it works for you and helps you start your day in whatever way you want it to start. Don't compare your behind the scenes to someone else's highlights. And I have been called out on this, and I know it's something that I struggle with. So it's advice that I also need to take for myself, but kind of embrace the journey of figuring out what works for you. Don't be so hard on yourself. Just be kind to yourself along the way. Thanks so much for joining me today in my video discussing on how I hacked morning routines. If you like this video, comment, like, subscribe. Thanks so much again for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.